I didn't even make it to my car. 1 minute I'm stepping out of Pine Ridge Medical Center, my badge still swinging, my feet aching like they're made of stone. And the next minute my phone rings and the sound of it feels like a warning. It was Marcus Reed, my rideshare driver. The one who usually cracked a little joke, asked if I ate dinner, told me to lock that deadbolt like it's paying rent. But tonight, his voice was different. Whoa. Like he was trying not to panic. Emily, he said, and my stomach dropped because he never said my name like that. You need to listen to me. Right now. I stopped under the buzzing light by the staff entrance. The parking lot was mostly empty. Wind cutting through my coat. My breath showing. What's going on? I asked, trying to sound normal. Even though my heart was already sprinting. Marcus's gray Camry rolled up slow. Too slow. Like he didn't want to draw attention. His window slid down halfway. His eyes were locked on mine. I drove past your street before I came here, he said. I wasn't trying to be weird. I just had a feeling. My throat went dry. Marcus, you're scaring me. I saw someone at your house, he said. I actually laughed once, this stupid nervous sound because my brain needed it to be nothing. What do you mean, someone? The guy with the black pickup, Marcus said. The one that parks a couple houses down. I've picked him up before. Kyle Bennett. My hands went cold instantly. Kyle, my neighbor. Marcus nodded. He was on your porch. And blinked. No. That's no. I'm telling you what I saw, Marcus said, voice firm now. He walked up like he belonged there. He tried your door handle. Then he leaned into your front window like he was trying to see inside. I stood there, frozen, staring at him like if I stared hard enough it would become a misunderstanding. Marcus's jaw tightened. Then he went back to his truck and sat there. Lights off. Engine running. Just waiting. My heart started pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. Why would he do that? I don't even talk to him. Marcus's eyes flicked toward the dark end of the lot, then back to me. Emily, he's mentioned you before. More than once. My voice came out thin. What does that mean? Marcus didn't answer right away. He just reached over and unlocked the back door. Get in, he said. I'm not taking you home. I swallowed. Then where are we going? He looked at me. Serious, protective, almost angry. To the police, he said. Because if I'm right about what I heard him say last time. He paused. Just long enough to make my blood turn to ice. Then you're not the only thing he's been watching. And the second I got in the car I realized something terrifying. Marcus wasn't guessing. He knew. The police station didn't feel like safety. It felt like fluorescent lights, stale coffee, and that weird quiet that sits in the corners. Like everyone inside is carrying something heavy and pretending it's normal. Marcus walked in like he'd done this before. Not cocky. Just steady. Like he was holding the panic for both of us. Me. I felt like my bones were vibrating. A young officer at the front desk asked for my name, my address, my reason for coming in. And saying my address out loud, after what Marcus told me, made my skin crawl. Like I was handing over a weapon. They brought us into a small interview room with scuffed chairs and a table that looked like it had heard too many confessions. A detective came in. Mid-40s. Tired eyes. Badge that said Detective Alvarez. He didn't waste time. Ma'am, he said, looking directly at me. Tell me what happened. Tried. I really tried. But it came out messy. I work late, I said. I get rides home. My neighbor, Kyle Bennett. Marcus says he saw him at my door tonight. I don't know why. I don't have problems with anyone. Detective Alvarez nodded like he'd heard that exact sentence 100 times. Then he turned to Marcus. And you? Marcus's posture stiffened, like he was bracing for impact. I've driven Kyle before, Marcus said. More than once. He gets in my car. And he talks like he's the only person in the world. Detective Alvarez lifted a brow. Talks about what? Marcus glanced at me, just for a second, like he hated saying this in front of me. About her, he said. My stomach turned. About me. Marcus nodded. About where you live. About your shift. About when your porch light goes off. The detective's pen stopped. I stared at Marcus. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Marcus swallowed hard. Because I didn't want to scare you if I wasn't sure it meant something. Detective Alvarez leaned forward. What did he say exactly? Marcus exhaled and pulled out his phone. I started recording rides, he said quietly. Audio only. For my safety. It's legal here. No. I saved the ones that felt wrong. My throat went tight. You recorded him. Marcus didn't look proud. He looked haunted. Yeah. Detective Alvarez held out his hand. Play it. Marcus tapped his screen. The room filled with muffled car noise. Then a man's voice, thick with alcohol and arrogance. She thinks she's smart, Kyle's voice slurred. Old lady works late. Thinks nobody notices. My heart stopped. My hands went numb. The audio continued. I'm telling you, she's got something. People like her always do. Detective Alvarez held up his hand, cutting it off. Run that again, he said. Marcus replayed it. Same words. Same poison. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't even blink. Detective Alvarez turned to me slowly. Ms. Carter. Do you have any idea what he thinks you have? My mouth opened. Nothing came out. Because I didn't know. And that's when Detective Alvarez's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen and his face changed, like whatever was on it turned the room colder. He looked at Marcus, then at me. Okay, he said, standing up fast. We're moving on this tonight. My voice cracked. Moving on what? Detective Alvarez didn't answer right away. He just said, Ma'am, you're not going home. And right as he said it, my phone buzzed in my pocket. One text. From an unknown number. I saw you leave. They kept using the word safe. Safe location. Safe for the night. You're safe now. But when you've just read a text that says I saw you leave, the word safe starts sounding like something people say when they don't know what else to offer. Detective Alvarez didn't let me touch my car. An officer drove it back to my street to make it look normal, like I'd gone home, like nothing had changed. Meanwhile, they put me in the back of an unmarked unit and took me to a motel off the highway, the kind that looks bright from the outside and tired on the inside. Room 214. 2 officers posted outside my door like I was a witness in some crime show. One of them tried to be comforting. Ma'am, you're okay, he said. We've got you. He nodded. I even said thank you. But the second the door closed behind me, the silence hit. The room smelled like detergent trying to cover old smoke. The curtains were too thin. The bedspread had that stiff, overwashed feel. I stood there with my purse still on my shoulder like I didn't trust the room enough to put it down. I checked the locks 3 times. Deadbolt. In. Deadbolt again. Then I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at my phone. That text kept glowing in my mind like a wound. I saw you leave. How? From where? Was he watching the hospital? Was he watching Marcus? Was he watching me? My chest tightened so hard I had to press a hand against it like I could physically hold myself together. I tried calling my daughter, Hannah, in Arizona. She didn't answer. Of course she didn't. She had a life. A normal life. The kind where your biggest worry at night is whether you forgot to buy groceries. I didn't leave a voicemail. Couldn't. Because if I said the words out loud, they'd become real in a way I wasn't ready for. Instead, I called Marcus. He answered on the first ring. Emily, he said. You okay? I let out a breath that sounded like it broke. I don't know. They put me in a motel. I'm still here, he said. I didn't go home. That made my throat burn. Marcus, you should. No, he said firmly. Not tonight. There was a pause. Then his voice softened. I keep thinking about the way he said your address, he admitted. Like he was tasting it. My skin crawled. Stop. I'm sorry, Marcus said quickly. I'm sorry. Emily, you need to understand this isn't random. I gripped the phone tighter. Then what is it? Marcus hesitated, And that hesitation was worse than any answer. Finally he said, "I think he believes you can ruin him." I stared at the wall like it might explain my own life to me. "I work billing," I whispered. "I don't carry secrets." "I don't." "You don't have to mean to see something," Marcus interrupted. "Sometimes you just notice." And that sentence lit up a memory I'd been trying to ignore. A week ago I'd stayed late because a claim looked off. Wrong dates, wrong codes, a name that didn't match. I told my supervisor and she'd said, "Write it down. We'll look into it quietly." I'd written it down on a little notepad. And for the first time since this started, I realized something sickening. That notepad wasn't at the hospital anymore. It was in my purse, on the bed beside me. My phone vibrated again. Unknown number. This time it wasn't a text. It was a call. I stared at the screen as it rang, my heart beating so hard it hurt. I didn't answer. It rang again, and again. Then it stopped. A new message popped up, short, casual, like we were friends. "Open the door, Emily. We can talk." The first knock was so soft I thought I imagined it. I froze with my phone in my hand, eyes locked on the motel door like it might suddenly breathe. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it had a voice. Then the second knock came. Clearer. Slower. Like whoever was on the other side had all the time in the world. I didn't move. I didn't blink. I just sat there on the edge of the bed, listening to my own breath shake in and out of my chest. Outside, one of the officers said, "Ma'am? Everything okay?" His voice snapped me back into reality. Just enough. I rushed to the door, but I didn't open it. I leaned close, keeping the chain latched, and whispered, "Someone's calling me. Texting me. The same number." There was a pause. Then I heard radio chatter. A shift of footsteps. The officer's voice lowered. "Stay inside. Do not open the door for anyone. Not even if they say your name." My stomach turned because the only reason he'd say that was because it happens. 'Cause people do that. I stepped back like the door was a live wire. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. "You're making this bigger than it needs to be." The way it was written, so calm, so sure, made my skin crawl. Like Kyle wasn't panicking. Like he wasn't desperate. Like he thought he still had control. I called Detective Alvarez with shaking hands. He answered fast, like he'd been expecting it. "Emily," he said, "tell me what you're seeing." "I'm in the room," I whispered. "The officers are outside. But he's messaging me like he's right here." Alvarez didn't sound surprised. He sounded angry. "Do not respond," he said. "Screenshot everything. We're tracing the number." I swallowed. Why would he do this if he's not here? Alvarez hesitated just long enough for dread to rise in my throat. "Because," he said carefully, "people like this don't always need to be close to make you feel trapped." I stared at the notepad in my purse like it was glowing. My notes, my scribbled codes. The tiny pieces of something I didn't fully understand. But Kyle clearly did. "Detective," I whispered, "what if he thinks I brought evidence home?" Another pause. Longer. He exhaled slowly. "That's exactly what I think," he said. My mouth went dry. "Then what happens?" "Then he tries to get it," Alvarez replied. "Or he tries to scare you into handing it over." I clutched my purse strap, suddenly protective in a way that felt primal. A knock hit the door again, harder this time. "Vem, vem," the officer outside snapped. "Step back from the door." Silence. In a voice, right outside my room. Not the officer. A man's voice, low and smooth, like he was smiling. "Emily," he said softly, like we were old friends. "I'm not here to hurt you. I just need what you took." My blood turned to ice. Because nobody had told him I took anything. And the worst part was, the voice sounded close enough to touch. Then my phone lit up one more time, and this message was different. Certain. "If you don't open the door, I'll come through another way." The officers outside my door moved fast. Like too fast. I heard a sharp command. "Hands where I can see them." And then the sound of someone backing up, shoes scraping the concrete walkway. My whole body locked up like if I moved, the door would somehow open itself. Then there was a laugh. Not a big one. Not a drunk one. Small, controlled laugh. The kind a man gives when he thinks he's still winning. "Relax," the voice said. "I'm just talking." My stomach flipped. I stared at the chain lock like it was the only thing keeping my life from splitting in half. I heard the officer again, louder. "Turn around. Now." Silence. Beep. Then footsteps. Running. West. The officer cursed and took off after him. Another set of footsteps followed. Boots hitting pavement, radio squawking. I stayed frozen in the room, breathing through my mouth because my throat felt sealed shut. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. "You think they can protect you?" My hands shook so hard I almost dropped the phone. I backed away from the door until my calves hit the bed. The room felt smaller. Utter. Like the air had been replaced with panic. I called Marcus. He picked up instantly. "Emily." "He was outside my door," I whispered. Marcus went silent for half a second like his brain had to catch up. "Kyle." "I don't know," I said, voice cracking. A man's voice. He said my name. He said he needed what I took. Marcus exhaled hard. "I'm coming." "No," I snapped, too loud, too sharp, because fear makes you mean. "Marcus, don't. Please don't." "I'm already in the lot," he said. "I never left. I told you." My chest tightened. "Marcus." "I'm not walking away this time," he said, voice low. "Just stay inside." A knock sounded, 3 quick taps. I flinched so hard my shoulders jumped. The officer's voice came through the door. "Ms. Carter." "It's Officer Lane." "Open up. Keep the chain on." I rushed forward, fingers trembling, and cracked the door just enough to see his uniform through the gap. He looked irritated, breathing hard. "We chased him," he said. "Lost him near the stairwell." I swallowed. "So he got away." Officer Lane's eyes narrowed. "For now." Felt sick. "How did he know my room number?" Lane's face tightened like he hated that question. "That's what we're trying to figure out," he said. "Because your name is not on the room reservation." My blood ran cold. Not on the reservation means it wasn't searchable. It wasn't in the system like that. So how? Officer Lane glanced down the hallway, then back at me. "Did you tell anyone where you were staying?" "No," I whispered. "Only Detective Alvarez. And Marcus." Lane stared at me for a long beat, then said, "Okay. We're moving you. Different location." And blinked. "Now." He nodded. "Now." I grabbed my purse. My notepad inside it felt like it weighed 10 pounds, and stepped into the hallway, trying to keep my legs from shaking. As we walked toward the stairs, my phone buzzed again. I looked down, and my stomach dropped through the floor. Photo. Taken from behind me. In the motel hallway. And beneath it, one line. "Tell Marcus I said hi." I didn't scream. Couldn't. I just stared at my phone like it had turned into a live thing in my hand. Like it could bite me. Photo of me. In the motel hallway. Taken from behind, mid-step, purse strap on my shoulder, hair falling forward. Meaning, he wasn't just nearby. He was watching. Right then. Close enough to lift a phone, snap a picture, and disappear. Officer Lane's face changed the second he saw my expression. "What is it?" he demanded. I held my phone out with shaking fingers. He took one look and swore under his breath. "Move," he barked into his radio. "Now. Now." Everything after that blurred into motion. Oars. Radios crackling. The smell of cold outside air hitting my face as we rushed down the stairwell like we were escaping a fire. I kept looking over my shoulder, expecting Kyle to be standing right there, smiling like he owned the hallway. But all I saw were shadows and fluorescent light, and the sick feeling that shadows were not empty anymore. They shoved me into the back of an unmarked car. Door slammed. Lock click. The sound felt final. Officer Lane leaned in through the window. "Do not answer any calls. Do not respond. Whatever you get, show us." I nodded like a person, But inside, I was shaking so hard my teeth almost chattered. Then my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. You moved fast. Cute. My stomach rolled. I whispered. He's doing this in real time. And in that moment I hated how calm he sounded. Like this was a game to him. Like fear was a leash and he was holding the handle. The car pulled out of the parking lot and merged onto the highway. City lights slid across the windows like watery reflections. I tried to breathe. But my mind kept circling one question like a vulture. How did he know? How did he know the motel? How did he know the room? How did he know Marcus was connected to me? Officer Lane got on the phone with Detective Alvarez. I could hear Alvarez's voice through the speaker. Sharp, clipped. Did he make contact? Alvarez asked. Yes, Lane snapped. And he somehow got eyes on her. We're moving her again. There was a pause. Then Alvarez said, Put her on. Lane handed me the phone. My hands felt numb. Emily, Alvarez said, and his voice was steadier than mine could ever be right now. Listen to me carefully. This is not a random stalker. This is someone who has done homework. My throat tightened. Detective, he took a picture of me. In the hallway. I know, Alvarez said. And that tells me something. What? I whispered. Alvarez's voice lowered. He has help. Or he has access. Because he shouldn't be able to track you this fast. My skin went ice cold. Help like who? Alvarez exhaled. We don't know yet. But I'm starting to suspect this isn't just about you. The words landed heavy in my chest. Because if it wasn't just about me, then my little notepad wasn't just notes. It was proof. Proof of something bigger. The car turned onto a darker road. Fewer lights. More trees. The kind of stretch where you can't tell if someone's behind you until it's too late. I stared into the rear-view reflection of the road, trying to see everything at once. Then Officer Lane's radio crackled, and I heard the sentence that made my blood run cold all over again. Unit 12, be advised. We have a black pickup matching the description. Possible tail. 2 vehicles back. My heart stopped, because there are a million cars on the road. But there is only one black pickup I'm scared of. And as I looked out the back window I saw it. Headlights. Steady. Patient. Following us like it already knew where we were going. And my phone buzzed one more time like a final whisper in the dark. You can't outrun your own address, Emily. The black pickup didn't speed up. Didn't flash lights. It didn't do anything dramatic. It just stayed there. 2 cars back like a shadow with patience. And somehow, that was worse. Because it meant whoever was driving wasn't scared of police. Wasn't impulsive. Wasn't sloppy. He was comfortable. Officer Lane didn't take his eyes off the mirrors. His jaw flexed once, hard, and then his hand went to the radio. Unit 12 to dispatch, he said, controlled but sharp. Confirm tail. Black pickup. Maintain distance. Request backup on Highway 17 heading north. My mouth was dry. That's him, isn't it? Lane didn't answer right away. He just looked at me in the rearview, like he didn't want to scare me but couldn't lie. Could be, he said finally. Or could be someone trying to make you think it is. That made my stomach twist. So either way, I whispered. Someone is playing with me. Lane's lips pressed together. Yeah. The road was darker now. Trees on both sides, scattered streetlights that felt like they were miles apart. The car in front of us turned off. The one behind us kept steady. Then the black pickup drifted slightly. Like it was testing how close it could get without being obvious. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I didn't even want to look. But I did anyway because fear makes you do stupid things just to feel in control. Wave for me. My breath caught. I wanted to throw my phone out the window. Lane noticed. What did he say? I showed him. Lane swore under his breath and hit the radio again. He's messaging her. This isn't a coincidence. My chest felt too tight like panic had hands around my ribs. Detective Alvarez said he might have help. Lane's eyes narrowed. Yeah. I'm starting to believe that. The black pickup edged closer. One car back. Then it changed lanes. Slowly. Like it was circling. Lane signaled and took the next exit without warning. My body jerked. Where are we going? Lane didn't look at me. Somewhere with lights. Cameras. People. The pickup followed. Perfect timing. Same exit. Same slow confidence. My stomach dropped. He's following us. Lane's voice went hard. Stay down. We hit a stretch of road with a gas station ahead. Bright signs. Open lot. Security cameras pointed like watchful eyes. Lane pulled in fast. For a split second I thought, good. We're safe. We're seen. But then the black pickup didn't pull in. Rolled past. Too smooth. Like it didn't need to come close to threaten me. It kept going. And that's when Lane's radio crackled again. Unit 12. We have an update. Lane snapped. Go. Dispatch sounded tense now. We just got a call from Pine Ridge Medical Center security. They're reporting someone attempted to access the billing office after hours. Keycard used. Alarm triggered. My blood turned to ice. Because my notepad, my notes, my scribbles, they weren't just in my purse. I'd made a copy earlier in the week. Quick photocopy. Just in case, my supervisor had said. And I'd left that copy in my desk drawer at the hospital. Lane stared at the radio like it had just spoken my death sentence. I swallowed hard, voice barely there. Detective. He's not just chasing me. Lane looked at me and I saw it in his expression. The shift from this is serious to this is bigger than we thought. Then my phone buzzed again. One message. Short. Cold. I'm at your workplace, Emily. Pick which door you want me at next. The security video froze on one frame. And I felt my whole body go cold. Because the man on the screen wasn't some faceless shadow. He turned slightly under the hallway light, and for half a second the camera caught his profile. Clean, sharp, calm. And even with the grainy quality, I knew that face. Kyle Bennett. Not drunk. Not sloppy. Not stumbling. Focused. Like he was doing something he'd rehearsed 100 times. Detective Alvarez slid the laptop a little closer to me in the back office of the gas station, like I needed to see it to believe it. I hated him for being right. You recognize him, Alvarez said. I didn't answer. My throat felt locked, because my brain kept trying to force normal logic into an abnormal situation. Kyle is my neighbor. Kyle waves sometimes. Kyle has a porch light like everyone else. But the man in that video wasn't a neighbor. He was a predator with a destination. Alvarez replayed the clip. Kyle moved down the corridor toward the billing wing, shoulders relaxed like he belonged there. He stopped at the keypad. Quick swipe. The lock clicked. Then he vanished inside. My stomach churned. How does he have access? Alvarez's eyes didn't leave the screen. That's what we're mapping. Officer Lane stood near the door, hand resting on his belt, scanning the windows every few seconds like the pickup could appear out of thin air. I swallowed hard. He texted me. He said he was at my workplace. Alvarez nodded once. Because he wanted you to feel like he could touch every part of your life. I flinched at the word touch. Alvarez closed the laptop and leaned in. Emily, I need you to tell me something straight. Braced. Okay. Did you ever mention your audit notes to anyone at work? He asked. Anyone at all? My mind raced through faces, voices, little conversations I barely remembered. I shook my head. No. I only told my supervisor that something looked off. That's it. Alvarez's expression tightened. What's your supervisor's name? Linda Brooks, I said. Why? Alvarez didn't answer right away. He stood up, stepped outside for a quick phone call, then came back looking like he'd aged 5 years in 2 minutes. Emily, he said quietly. Kyle didn't guess the billing office layout. My chest tightened. What do you mean? He went straight to one desk, Alvarez said. Straight to one drawer. My blood drained from my face. The drawer where you said you kept the photocopy, he added. I stared at him. That's impossible. It's not, Alvarez said. Not if someone told him. A sick, slow heat crawled up my neck. You're saying someone at the hospital is involved? Alvarez held my gaze. I'm saying this is organized. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I didn't want to look. I looked anyway. You're making them work overtime, Emily. That drawer was empty. My hand started shaking so badly I couldn't even type if I wanted to. I shoved the phone toward Alvarez like it was contaminated. Alvarez's jaw clenched. He's taunting you, Officer Lane muttered. We need to lock down the hospital. Alvarez nodded, then turned back to me. Emily, I'm going to ask you to do something difficult. My pulse spiked. What? We need to build a clean case, he said. Stalking. Attempted break-in. Fraud. And whoever helped him. I swallowed. How? Alvarez's voice dropped. By proving intent. Proving access. Proving there's a network. Felt dizzy. And where do I fit into that? Alvarez didn't blink. You're the target. Which means you're also the key witness. My chest tightened so hard it hurt. Then Officer Lane's radio crackled again. Another update from hospital security. Voice tense and fast. Detective Alvarez. We traced the keycard swipe. Alvarez's head snapped up. Whose card? Was. Then the dispatcher said the words that made my blood turn to ice. It was registered to Linda Brooks. And in that moment, I realized the real betrayal might not be living 3 houses down. It might be sitting behind a desk, smiling at me, pretending to help, while quietly handing Kyle the map of my life. And my phone buzzed one more time, like Kyle knew I'd just learned the truth. Ask Linda what she promised me, Emily. The betrayal hit me so hard I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, because my brain couldn't accept it fast enough, so it did the only thing it could do. Glitch. Linda Brooks. I whispered. My supervisor. Detective Alvarez didn't look away. Her keycard. Or access. Same timestamp as Kyle. I felt like the room tilted. Linda was the person who'd patted my hand when I looked overwhelmed. The one who'd said, You're doing great, Emily. We need good eyes like yours. Good eyes. That phrase suddenly sounded disgusting. Officer Lane muttered. We need her in a room. On record. Alvarez looked at me like he hated asking what he was about to ask. Emily, he said. We're going to use you. My stomach clenched. Use me how? To get her talking, he said. Cleanly. Legally. We need her words. I stared at my phone, hands shaking. You want me to call her? Alvarez nodded. You're the only person she trusts right now. And Kyle's already spooked. If Linda senses we know, she'll destroy evidence or disappear. I swallowed. My mouth tasted like metal. What do I say? Alvarez leaned in. You tell her you're scared. You tell her Kyle reached out. You tell her you think you might have left something behind at the hospital. Something you shouldn't have. My chest tightened. That's a bait line, Alvarez said. She'll bite if she's involved. And if she bites, we record. I wanted to refuse. I wanted to curl into a ball and let someone else be brave. But then my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. She's going to tell you I'm the monster. Don't believe her. My skin crawled. He's still watching, I whispered. Alvarez's eyes went cold. Good. Let him watch. Tonight we end this. They set up the call right there. Alvarez beside me, Lane by the door, the recording running. My fingers hovered over Linda's contact like it was a gun. Hit dial. She answered on the second ring, warm as ever. Emily, honey, are you okay? I heard you didn't come in. I almost cried from the normalness of her voice. I forced my tone to shake. Linda, I'm scared. Oh, sweetheart, she said softly. What happened? I swallowed. Kyle Bennett, he knows about the audit. He texted me. He said he went to the billing office. Linda, I think I left something in my desk. Tiny pause. But it was enough. Linda's voice lowered. Emily. Listen to me carefully. My heart pounded. You can't go to the police with anything, she said. Do you understand me? My throat tightened. Why would you say that? Linda exhaled, irritated now, like the mask was slipping. Because you don't know what you're involved in. My stomach turned. Linda, I whispered. Did you give him your key card? Silence. Then she said too calmly. Meet me at the hospital. 10 minutes. Lower parking level. Bring your purse. My blood went ice cold. Linda, I started. She cut me off, voice sharp. Be late. The call ended. Detective Alvarez's face hardened like stone. Lower parking level, he repeated. She wants it private. Officer Lane grabbed his radio. We move. Now. I sat there shaking, staring at my phone like it might explode. Because Linda didn't sound like a woman trying to help me. She sounded like a woman trying to control me. And right as we rushed out into the night, my phone buzzed one more time. Unknown number. If you go down there, Emily, you're not coming back up alone. The elevator doors opened to the lower parking level, and the first thing I smelled was oil and cold concrete. That kind of cold that crawls up your ankles. My heartbeat was so loud I swear it echoed off the pillars. Detective Alvarez had me wired. Officer Lane was somewhere out of sight, and Marcus refused to leave the area. He stayed outside in his Camry, parked where he could see the main exit, like he was a human anchor holding the world in place. Still, when I stepped out of that elevator, it felt like I was alone. The garage lights flickered. Not fully broken, just tired. Like they didn't care what happened down here. Then I saw her. Linda Brooks, standing beside a support pillar, coat wrapped tight, phone in her hand, face calm like this was just another late shift conversation. Like she didn't just invite me into a trap. Emily, she said softly, almost sweet. Thank God. Come here. I forced my feet forward one step at a time, the way you walk through grief. Slow, careful, pretending you're not shattered. Why are we doing this down here? I asked, keeping my voice shaky on purpose. Linda's eyes flicked to my purse. Because you made it messy. I told you to keep it quiet. My mouth went dry. You gave Kyle your keycard. Her expression tightened. Just for a second. Then she sighed like I was exhausting her. Kyle's a problem. But you're a bigger one. You keep looking at things you shouldn't. I felt something snap inside me. Something that used to be fear turning into clarity. Why? I whispered. Why would you do that to me? Linda stepped closer. Because you don't understand what you're touching, Emily. The hospital's been bleeding money for years. People were going to lose jobs, benefits, everything. So you stole it instead. My voice cracked. You let him stalk me for that? Linda's jaw clenched. Don't dramatize it. And that's when I realized. She wasn't sorry. She was annoyed. Like I was an inconvenience. Took a breath. What did you promise, Kyle? Linda's eyes went flat. Protection. A cut. My stomach turned. And what am I? Just collateral. Linda reached for my purse. Give me the notes. I stepped back. No. Her smile vanished. Emily, she warned, voice low. Don't make me. A shadow moved behind her. A slow figure stepping out from between two parked cars. Kyle Bennett. Not waving neighbor Kyle. Not porch light Kyle. This Kyle moved like a man who believed he had already won. He smiled at Linda, then at me. Told you she'd show. My blood went ice cold. But my feet didn't freeze this time. 'Cause now I understood the game. They wanted me scared. They wanted me small. So I lifted my chin and said, loud enough for the hidden microphones, loud enough for the cameras. I'm not giving you anything. Kyle's smile twitched. You don't get to choose. And in that exact moment, Detective Alvarez's voice boomed through the garage. Police! Hands up! Everything exploded. A step. Commands. Kyle bolting. Linda gasping like she didn't expect betrayal to have consequences. Kyle tried to run, straight toward the stairwell, until Marcus appeared at the far end of the lane, blocking the exit with his Camry like a wall with headlights. Kyle hesitated. That hesitation was all Officer Lane needed. They took him down hard. Linda collapsed against the pillar, shaking, whispering, "This wasn't supposed to happen." I stood there, breathing hard, and for the first time in weeks, the air didn't feel like a cage. Felt like truth. Months later in court, Kyle got hit with the full weight of it. Fraud, stalking, intimidation, attempted break-in. Linda lost everything. Her job, her license, her reputation. And I learned something I didn't expect. Justice doesn't always feel like fireworks. Sometimes it feels like a quiet morning where you drink your coffee without checking the window. Sometimes it feels like sleeping through the night. Sometimes it feels like looking in the mirror and realizing you're not the woman who stayed silent anymore. If you're listening to this and you've ever been targeted, by a person, by a system, by fear itself, hear me. You're not dramatic. You're not too sensitive. You're not a problem. You're a person. And your voice can be the thing that saves you. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you've lived through something similar, share your story in the comments. Your voice matters.